morning we're here in the stable to talk to you a little bit about asking a horse to give in the jaw in the pole. And a lot of this you need to be sure that the horse will do on the ground before you start working in the saddle. And this is part of getting the horse round to the bridle. If you have a horse which flips off the cross ties, pulls back off the cross ties, pulls backwards when you try to ask it to go in the trailer, pulls backwards when you ask it with the halter to come forward, won't tie, pulls off the cross ties, pulls off the ties, you need some professional help with that. So this information may or may not be for you. This is how we train it, and this is how you would go about it. But you already have a severe problem, and you know that. And those kind of problems are pretty serious. For the average horse, they already stand tied. They pretty much stand on the cross ties, and unless something scares them, we're doing pretty good. It's not a problem. But you have to review this on the ground, and so we're going to show you how it is that we work with horses that don't give. And it just occurred to me I didn't put a cookie in my pocket, so I'm going to go get some cookies because you're going to want some treats. So we're going to get some treats. Lilith is going to stand there. There you go. Good girl. Everybody needs a treat once in a while. Okay, so this is how it goes. I have my rope halter on, and you know about rope halters. Rope halters, you want to, yeah, good girl, she says, cookies. You want to touch a rope halter and a horse give to it, and she does a little bit. There you go. That's what we're looking for, is she put her head down and in. Down, as you pull down, and you give a tug, and she gives. And you know, if horses resist the halter, you give a tug, and you put your hand down with the treat. Maybe you got to hold a carrot down there. Down, down, down. Good. And a treat. So you want to tug, you don't want to pull on a rope halter. And you're trying to do the same thing, like if you ask them to give in the jaw and lower their neck, you give a tug, you release. You give a tug, you release. And she's standing here going, Mom, are you serious? And she's not the best at this. She's a tight, cold horse. So you use some treats and you work on this. Now, you got two parts of a horse giving in the pull and the jaw. You got the down, which is actually the hardest, and when they won't go down, a lot of times we will massage the pull and touch the rope, and massage the pull, down, down. And she's doing what a lot of horses do. She's distracted today. She's not sure what I'm doing. And without a treat, she's like, I don't know about this. And it's okay. Keep working on it. And I haven't done this. I can't remember when I did this last, to be absolutely honest with you. Because once you pretty much get it trained, you don't have so much trouble. There you go. Now she's like, oh yeah, I remember, Mom. I was supposed to put my head down. Now the problem with this, and the reason she's in the stall, is if you have a horse that went somewhere for some cowboy training, and the minute they start playing with the halters, you try to work the halter, the horse is running backwards. If they've been taught to back up, you are so screwed. So you have to kind of untrain that. So I put her in the corner in her stall, because those kind of horses, you put them in the stall, you let them relax, you be in a safe place or a corner of the arena, and you work on this. But you want to have something behind them, because if they've been taught to back, that's a problem. Now the next part of this is that you want her to give this way in the pole. And face vertical is direct flexion. And you see she's actually a little better with that. This morning here, and we have so much wildlife out the windows. It's absolutely amazing. She just heard the bald eagle fly over and scream. And she put her head up, so you just saw that. Okay, so you're looking for them, so keep massaging, relaxing, massaging, relaxing. And that is really good, because she lowered her neck and she pulled it in. In the next day or two, you're also going to see that we did a video for you for lateral pole flexion. But places to be sure that they're loose are their jaw, and you want to stand, you can stand behind them or in front of them. Just be careful they pop their nose up and hit you in the face, but massage their TMJs, get really tight with bridles. So be sure those are loose. Keep massaging their neck as you ask them to close and lower. And you want two parts of this. You want to keep asking her for down, 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 down. And you want to give a small tug and reward them, and give a small tug and reward them, and give a small tug and reward them. That was really good. She got her neck all the way down. The interesting thing about horses is she has a really high set-on neck. This isn't her favorite thing to do. Lowering her neck is not her favorite thing to do. Closing, which is in, is a little easier, and you see she just shifted towards the wall, so it's good that I'm there. But closing her neck and relaxing this, and closing her neck and relaxing and closing her poll is what you want to do. So if your tests have been saying strung out, one of the things they're getting at is that the poll is completely open like this. And for horses that are going around, let me see if I can get her. There's a lot of horses that go around like this. They're actually in the bridle with their face almost completely straight out. That is not closed in the poll, and they don't give in the jaw. And so your chest is going to say, needs rounder connection, needs softer connection to hand, needs direct pole flexion, locked open at the pole, open at the pole, not closing at the pole. In intro, they think that's too complicated for you, so they're going to say, needs connection, over and over, needs connection. And you're sitting there going, well, I got brain contact. But what they're getting at is that she is completely, let me see if I can get it, because a lot of horses go like this. She's like that in the bridle, her nose completely straight forward. And where, you know, let's say intro, like you'd really like her kind of like, no, come on, be good. And see if we can pose a little. You'd like it like that, a little. You just want a little flexion in the pole so that she's soft. Now I'm going to put the bridle on, and I'm going to show you how to work this with the bridle, because after you can get it in the halters, with and without the rope halter, see if you can get it with the leather halter. How often can you do this? You can do it every day. You can do it 10 times a day. You can do it as many times as you want, because you want to teach this horse to close and lower her neck without backing up. So I'm going to get the bridle, and we're going to have a look at what this looks like in the bridle. Be back in a minute. Okay, we've just got Lilith's bridle on, and what she's got on is her Western bridle. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a separate cavesson, super loose. I mean, look, I can get 8 fingers in there. You know, I'm supposed to be able to put 2, but holy cow, you know, it's not tight. And she uses several bridles, but this is my favorite for training this kind of stuff. It's an egg butt, or I really like a loose ring even better. And she has 2 joints in there. So this is a snaffle with 2 joints that I can independently work both sides. Keep in mind that you do not want your snaffles hung so tight that the cheek pieces, you can't do that. You need to be able to flex your cheek pieces a little bit. If they're hung so that they're really tight, then they're hung like a gag, and that's a problem. Horses have trouble learning how to use the bit and hold the bit themselves, because horses that should be in a soft self-carriage, they hold their own bit pretty much. The bit hanger holds it, it just lays there, but it does not want to pull up on their legs. So that's tricky. So what we want to teach her to do, and I still have her in the stall, is just if you have a horse that's been taught to back every time you touch anything up here, you need a wall or a corner behind you, because you're trying to teach the horse, hey, I want you to learn to lower your neck on demand. And it's a lot easier with reins. So for me, I can have the reins over her neck, or I can take them off. But what I'm going to try to teach her is a little bit of down angle. Got a down angle either on one side, and particularly one side. Good girl. She just lowered her neck a little bit. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Nice. Okay, neck went down. And what you're teaching her is the neck down half halt. And what it is that you're going to tilt the rein. And when you have a leather rein, which attaches loosely, that can slide around a ring, then you can relax the rein so that when you begin to use it, that you're actually going down a little bit, telling her, and it's usually the outside rein that moves the bit a little bit down. And what you're going to do is move the bits a little bit, one rein, the other, just a touch. Relax, relax, relax. She puts her head down. She gets a cookie. Now, if you start doing this and you have a horse that goes up, and they go, and especially if anything's going on in the barn, they're distracted at all, they get tense, they get tired, they're going to tighten all this up and just go, I don't want to. That's fine. Just relax. Go back to this work. You can't force them. And this is nothing you're going to muscle a horse down, because you don't want to muscle a horse down. So this is an ask and a reward system. Ask and reward. Now, one of the things you can do is kind of massage a little bit around their neck. You're going to use the outside rein or the reins back and forth a little bit. And you're going to ask a little small tug, a little small tug. Now this time she's sick of it already. She goes, I did this already. I'm pretty sure you got a cookie. Oh, there we go. I didn't have to get the cookie. So here we go. That was good. Gets a cookie. So you're working on two things. Downward, half halt. Whoops, she barely got it in there. Did you get it in there? Good for you. Now there's also the closing half halt, which is part of collecting the horse, and it's that she brings her pole in, and this is where she has to be soft in the jaw, and this is where the snaffle really comes into play, because you can use one side of a snaffle and the other. So the downward half halts, which we're going to teach you in the master class of half halting, is always done on the outside rein, and the outside rein is always responsible for the height and the length of the neck, and how vertical the pole is, which is, this is the pole, we were talking about closing it. Now, when I use a little bit of outside rein, which for her right now is the right rein, she thought about stepping back, so that's good, why the wall is there. And I don't have any legs, so I clucked. And good girl, awesome. And she just gave and went round. And that's what you want. You want to tell them, good girl, good girl, good girl. So this is called bit flexing, and this is a technique that's been done for hundreds and hundreds of years to teach horses to soften and give in the reins. For example, I started horses, like 70% of my living was starting young horses under saddle, and I was famous for not failing. And I was famous for horses that didn't dump people, didn't run away with them, didn't buck. And I had some really difficult breeds, really hot breeds, and big breeds, like I did a lot of Turkeyers. And one of the things that we do is, of course, this on the ground. But we were long lining them at 2.5 in their bits. And because you're steering with the bits and you're already using these half halts, by the time you got on the horse, by the time it was 2.5, 2 3/4, 3, when you're just barely backing it, they already steer and they've already given to the bits and they already head set. So a lot of people don't have to do a lot of this, but this is what happens when you get to 10 or 11 years old. Maybe your horse was in some other division and it didn't learn all of this. And so you do this. Or when a horse comes into me and it used to go on the bit, but it doesn't go on the bit anymore, and it doesn't go round and it won't give. And we start looking for, okay, first, is it comfortable? Everything has to be comfortable. Horse has to be relaxed, has to be in a safe place. And then we start playing with it, either with a rope halter. That was lovely with the bits. Wow, that's what you're looking for right there. Good girl, good girl. This is what you're looking for, that you touch those reins and they give. So that when you begin to ride forward, that you can begin to have a language with the bit. We're going to teach you the half halts, and there is a system of half halts, and we're going to teach those to you in the master class on half halts, and this is it. Okay, thanks, and we'll see you next time. Hug your horses for me. Bye.